Here's a look at how the electoral map shaped up on the east coast of this country last night. The Liberals took the vast majority of 32 seats in Atlantic Canada. In the Maritimes, as you can see there, 20 ridings are red with 5 going Conservative blue. Now a two-party region federally. There were tight races and there were landslides. We begin our coverage with CTV's Jonathan McGuinness in Bridgewater.
Jessica Fancy Landry entered her constituency office for the first time today as an MP-elect.
When they first started posting results and it was back and forth, you know, my heart was in my throat a little bit.
By the end of the night, the first-time candidate was leading incumbent Rick Perkins by almost 7,000 votes. South Shore St. Margaret's is now one of 10 ridings in Nova Scotia to back Mark Carney and his provincial candidates.
I think that, you know, the 10 of us are very excited to start working together.
At dissolution, the Conservatives held 3 seats, but after last night's count, the Liberal Party converted 2 of them to red ridings.
It seems pretty clear to me that many people that voted for the PC majority at the provincial level also voted for the Carney Liberals at the federal level.
The other riding to swing to the Liberals is Cumberland-Colchester. The only Conservative to hold on to his seat was Chris D'Entremont in Acadie-Annapolis. Mount St. Vincent University professor Jeff McLeod says the support could lead to a close relationship between the province and Ottawa.
It could be a fairly positive one if Premier Houston continues to separate himself from the brand of conservatism that was seemingly closer to the Trump version.
Nationally, the Liberals have about 400,000 more votes than the Conservatives, but are currently 4 seats from a majority government.
Mr. Carney has a big job to work across the aisle, and so do all the people that have gotten in as Liberals. Certainly the Conservatives, I hope that they also work across the aisles.
What do we do today and what do we do tomorrow?
That's something Fancy Landry is prepared to do, saying she wants to be as visible in Ottawa as she is in her riding. CTV News reached out to the re-elected Conservative MP-elect Chris D'Entremont, but didn't hear back by news time. Well, Todd, Nova Scotia MPs are in a position to hold cabinet positions within Mark Carney's government. Those appointments are expected to come in the days and weeks ahead. Todd.
All right, John in Bridgewater starting us off. And yes, Cody Blois from the Annapolis Valley was appointed Agriculture Minister briefly under Mark Carney. We'll see if he gets another portfolio. Well, the night played out in similar fashion in New Brunswick with wins, including a musician turned MP and the return of someone who was perhaps the most outspoken Liberal to urge Justin Trudeau to resign. Here's CTV's Nick Moore.
In what came down to a two-party fight on Monday night, New Brunswick's federal political map ended up looking a lot like it did after the 2021 vote.
I mean, we have the same 6 Liberal, 4 Conservative divide that we had in the last election.
Political expert Jamie Gilly says a map mirroring what happened more than 3.5 years ago is remarkable, especially in ridings that were considered a toss-up, including the riding of Fredericton-Oromocto, which Liberal candidate David Miles carried handily.
Both David Miles and Wayne Long won big, and both of those ridings, I think, right up until Election Day, for a lot of observers were thought of as battlegrounds.
Liberal Wayne Long had initially announced he was not going to run again under Justin Trudeau, but changed his mind once Mark Carney became party leader. Long was re-elected in St. John, Kennebecasis.
I likened us to the Titanic 6 months ago. Well, guess what? We've just formed government. We're 4 seats short. Let's see what happens with the recounts. We're 4 seats short of a majority government.
John Williamson was re-elected for the Conservatives in the riding of St. John-St. Croix, a redrawn riding that now takes in rural and urban voters.
There's a lot of overlap in terms of the issues. I found at the biggest issue at doors, whether it was in the city or in rural areas, was the affordability question, the economy, and jobs.
In New Brunswick, the 3 largest cities and northern francophone ridings went Liberal. Ridings taking in more rural areas went Conservative.
You sort of still had the echo of the Susan Holt-Blaine Higgs election from last year.
I think for me it's who is running, the local person, rather than whoever is going to be in charge of the country.
I always go for the seniors, treat the seniors good.
The drug situation, the crime, the hook and release, that was on my mind most of the election.
Went in with who I thought would probably do the best job.
The conclusion of a historic campaign. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.